Welcome back. We are watching oil and the energy sector. Oil prices falling as oversupply becomes a concern. As you can see, crude oil now at 66.47. Reuters is reporting that the Saudi OPEC governor says a potential oil glut could become an issue in the fourth quarter. Joining me right now is the Energy Secretary, Rick Perry. Secretary, it's good to see you.
It's good to be here, Maria.
Thanks so much for joining us. So your reaction to that, are we looking at a glut now?
It's a snapshot in time, and we know that stable supply is really the most important issue to us, so we don't get these spikes and ups and downs. So right now there's a bit more than what the market is using, but that can vanish in a hurry.
We've been talking so much about the U.S. becoming a bigger and bigger producer. So with all of the headlines around Saudi Arabia right now, with Jamal Khashoggi news, does the U.S. need Saudi Arabia oil?
Well, the world market does, and you know, this is a global market. The United States is now the #1 oil and gas producing country in the world.
That's incredible.
By 2020, we will be a net oil exporter. I mean, it's just fascinating what's happened in a decade. It shows what innovation and technology can do. With all of that said, the world market is going to need this energy, all kinds of energy. When you think about the European market, the American LNG that's going in there now, the geopolitics of that, where no longer does Poland or Romania have to, or Germany for that matter, be reliant upon Russian gas singularly. So the world is really reliant now on American energy. But we're also obviously reliant upon other countries. You got problems in Venezuela. You've got problems in Angola. The sanctions on Iran are out there. So the market is it's critical that we keep the supply up, and that's the reason that infrastructure is so important in the United States oil fields. The limiting factor in the Permian Basin, which is the third largest oil field in the world.
Wow.
Is pipeline capacity.
So what about that? What do we need to do in terms of infrastructure to build up this pipeline, that one and others?
The president is really focused on this. He understands that you've got to get this to market, and pipelines are one of the key issues there. And when you talk about infrastructure, it's not just pipelines. When you think about Midland, Odessa out in West Texas, it's about hospitals and schools and roads and being able to have places for people to live, literally. That's all part of this infrastructure, because this is a generational change that's occurring in America and in turn affecting the world. So the president has basically said, we're going to go try to build this infrastructure as fast as we can. That means FERC has got to be moving and moving quickly. That means that agencies that have regulatory control over all of these different things, it may be Corps of Engineers, it may be the DOE. All of those need to be on point, that as we build this infrastructure, you need your regulatory climate to be one that is very nimble and very expeditious.
Understood. Before I get to your event, the Iran sanctions going into an effect next week, right? Or in the,
correct, in November.
Next week, end of November. What's the impact on the oil market?
Well, obviously, we don't know completely. I suggest that the market's already been impacted by it. People knew they were coming in. Those contracts have already been, forward played in, anticipated. Yes, ma'am. So I don't think there will be much in the market standpoint. Hopefully, it will send the appropriate message to Iran. Listen, be a decent neighbor in the neighborhood, and you don't have to face these kind of things.
No, we'll see about that. Your event, you will be touring the Brookhaven Lab on Long Island today. Tell us about that. Why is this facility important? Why are you going there?
Well, we have 17 national labs, and these are the most fascinating. It's what makes my job as cool as it is, Maria. These national labs all across the country, the Manhattan Project out at Los Alamos, through Sandia, through Pacific Northwest Lab. I mean, fascinating work that they do. Brookhaven, things that you don't necessarily connect with the Department of Energy. Early work was done on Parkinson's disease at the Brookhaven Lab.
So these are medical labs?
No, they're energy labs, but we do a host of different things across all of the nuclear weapons work is done at our national labs, but they also we delve into things like into water. I mean, these are where a lot of ideas get thrown out and tested in the federal government to see, what is the next big thing. The first video game was developed at Brookhaven Lab out on the end of Long Island. So this is my 17th lab to go to. This gets me to visit all of them.
This shows us the innovation of America, right? What's really going on.
And that's what national labs are really about. You've got Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, over at DOD. They do like types of work, but the national labs, if there are a set of crown jewels in America, I would suggest to you our national labs are them. The men and women who work there are brilliant. They're fascinating men and women who, across the board, we're working on issues of traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress at our national labs as well.
I know that.
Fascinating work that's going on.
And of course, we don't know enough about the brain, Alzheimer's and autism, and so this is really important work. Real quick before you go, obviously coming from Texas, your thoughts on this migrant caravan. I mean, President Trump is maintaining this hard stance with reports that indicate he is prepared to sign an executive order barring those illegal immigrants from entering the United States. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen reiterated that last night. What do you see?
I give you an interesting. We've had these challenges while I was the governor of the state of Texas. I requested 800 federal troops to come to assist us along the border back with a previous administration. We finally have a president who is willing to protect, defend the border of the United States. And as a Texan, as a former governor, I say thank God.
Especially since you have a whole long line of people that are doing it legally, that are waiting online to get in illegally. You've got these people trying to get to the front of the line. So
you've never had anybody send the message of, listen, this border is going to be sacrosanct. If you want to come in the United States, you come in illegally. You come in legally.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump, the first president who's been able to stand up and say, we're going to stop it.
Secretary, it's good to see you this morning.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. Secretary Rick Perry joining us.